She was. She was the queen of the fourth dimension of archangels.
So she was a queen.
Angels. Why do I say
Archangels.
archangels?
Hey, queens. Hey.
Hey, girls.
So, longtime listeners of the show know that we usually do a summer break.
That's right. Burnout is real, even when it's something you love.
I
like a
know.
podcast.
Yeah, you need a break. We didn't want to leave you guys high and dry for all of this.
Exactly. Over the summer, we're going to be featuring a few different things.
Yeah, you might have heard a couple of our classic Patreon episodes. We'll put them on the feed.
Yeah, that's right. And our Patreon episodes might be a little bit different. Like the formatting might be a little bit different. But we think you're going to love them. We hope you enjoy the show.
And let's raise a glass.
And as always, y'all, we curse a little bit. So if you don't like strong language in your history, this may not be the show for you.
No, Nathan's got a potty mouth. Doo-dah.
Cheers, bitches! Bow, chicka, bow, wow, wow, bow, 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 wow. Hey.
That's our new intro. It might be copywritten. I don't know. But we do make beautiful music.
We do. Don't add us. We're just going with the flow. On a Sunday afternoon here in Texas, it didn't even get into the 90s today, so it must be fall.
Yeah, right. No, that's the truth.
And just like last year for spooky season, in October, we talked about some cults. And so we thought we would carry on that tradition to this spooky season this year.
And last year, I feel like, Katie, both you and I had some heavy cults. Like, heavy.
Yes.
Like, yes. Not nice, very horrible human beings that ran these things. You did like Nexium. I forget the name of mine, and now that I'm thinking about it.
It was the guy with those ridiculous coats, those like really gaudy jackets that still sell for like $10,000, and it was like all about child labor and stuff.
Yeah,
it was about
like, really
sex cults and
real dark, real fucking dark. So I actually had stumbled across this next gal that we're going to be talking about, and it was one of those where I was like, "Is it really a cult?" Because like y'all are going to hear the story, and obviously the theology and everything behind it. It's a cult. Like there's no way around it. But there isn't that element of like, I'm gonna kill you if you try to revolt against me.
It's
you know what I mean? Like
it's cult light.
Yes, but she's definitely a cult leader. Like
it's diet cult.
Diet cult. I love it. So the person that I'm going to be talking about today is Ruth Norman, and she was in a little cult that was called Unarius. And every time I read this word, it just looks like Uranus.
I know. My dyslexic ass, when I first read it, I was like, her cult was named Uranus? And then like I heard it said out loud, and I was like, no, dumbass, that's not the way the letters are in order.
I know. But I may have to edit out me trying to say unsay Uranus.
For a cult leader, what a white bread name.
Oh yeah.
Ruth Norman. Like it sounds like the name of like a housewife who's got a casserole recipe that'll just knock your socks off, you know?
Oh my god, I love it. And she probably did. And she probably looked fabulous while making it.
Yes.
I can't wait to do amazing.
I can't wait to make an Instagram post for this episode because I did, even though I didn't, because I wanted this to mainly be Nathan's story time where you told me about this funky cult lady. I did Google her and you sent me some pictures and she knew how to work a planet cape.
I know, I love it. It's like it is just so amazing. Like I don't like it. You see her and you're like, is she a drag queen? Like she's very likely a drag queen. But
what is she wearing?
Actually, there's a fun fact before we get started with her. And it is about like her image. MTV actually bought one of her images, and I think we actually have it in the show notes, and bought the image, and they used that for like the VMAs one year.
Really?
Yeah. They like used her image as like, look at this cool hippie lady. Yeah. It was something like that. And they ended up like buying the image from her.
Did they not know that she was a cult leader when they were like, look at this cool hippie lady?
Again, I think that circles us back to, is she really a cult leader? I mean, she is, but like she's harmless. Like she's actually not hurting anybody.
Mm-hmm. Look, that is a look. She is serving it to me. The guy behind her is also very dedicated to his look. And there's a Ghostbusters car or something. Okay.
I mean, it's just genius. But let's get started. Okay. Let's dive right on in. So, just like a brief, like, cap of who she was. And this is literally pulled from the website of her religion that still is in existence today. I mean, I really don't want to laugh at people's religion, but it's
how many active members does it have, though?
Not many.
Yeah. Sorry if you are part of this religion, and we are making
sorry if you are part of the Uranus religion. No, it's the Unarius. But the Unarius website, unarius.org, said, as cosmic visionaries, the Normans are the forerunners for the new age of spiritual renaissance, of logic and reason, bringing to humankind an understanding of the principles of evolutionary physics and providing realistic models which answer humanity's unquenchable desire to know thyself.
This website really needs a facelift.
They only have like a couple thousand followers, so I don't know if anybody's in IT.
Like, for how fancy they are and like all her pizzazz, I was really expecting something with a little bit more I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Flair.
I was this looks like
She wasn't around for the internet, so I'm sure if she was still alive right now, she'd be like, "This is a monstrosity," and would have something to say.
I can't really code or anything, but if they give me just like $50, I could set them up a much better looking Squarespace website.
Like, can I talk to your company computer guy?
Yes, I'm not asking for much. Just in memory of Planet Lady, can I play around with this?
Yeah, but she's like, so we'll get into this later. You know, what I said, the description of what she, her website says about her, it really is more about like past life regression, interstellar space travel. I mean, and she has the gowns to prove for it. I mean, this is Katie's spirit animal, guys.
I know. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I'm like, oh no, it's me in a past life.
So Ruth Niels was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on August 18th of 1900. So she's a Leo. If you're taking count.
Look, no, you know what? If you would have just showed me one picture and said, what's this lady's sign? Fucking Leo.
I know it shows, bitch. Like it shows. But Leo's big-hearted, natural-born leaders, which just sounds like a cult.
Yeah,
should be led by a Leo.
Natural-born cult leaders.
Yeah, right. They've got a lot of drive. So the perfect person to start a cult.
Yes,
you wouldn't want a Gemini to start a cult because we a little cray.
And the cult would like, I don't know, like you might lose interest halfway through.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm like. Man, I'm done. So she was one of 6 children, born in or raised in Pasadena, California, and her dad worked as an upholsterer and pretty fucking poor. So let's think about this. So this is back in 1900. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but child labor laws weren't a thing.
Oh,
so you had children and you sent them to work. Right, if you were broke. So that's literally what happened. She didn't get an education, obviously, because she's having to help dad bring in money, just like all of the other kids. She was a maid and a fruit packer, which just sounds like another term for a gay man. So she got married when she was...
Except for know that she actually put fruit into bags, a lot less sexy.
Yeah. So she was like 18 when she was married, which not super uncommon at the time, guys. I remember my grandparents getting married at like 16.
Yeah.
So it was not that uncommon. Plus, she wants to get the fuck out of the house. So she claims that her dad was abusive later in life. She never really says anything until like much, much later in her life. But she got married to a man, obviously, because it's 1900s.
Yeah.
And that man was Frank De Silva's. And she just literally started pumping out babies left and right.
Again, just what she did.
Literally, I mean, left and right. She only had two. And I don't know how the uterus
so just
works.
left and then right. Well, there's the left uterus and then there's the right uterus.
Okay, so one shoots babies out towards the basketball goal, and the other is like towards the hockey goal. Got it.
Exactly. Now you know the female anatomy just as well as the legislators in Texas. Got it.
Yay! Unfortunately, that marriage didn't last too long. It only lasted 5 years. But guess what, Katie?
What?
We don't know shit about her life after this. Surprise!
Secret. She's got a secret.
So it's literally... we really don't know what was going on in her life until about the 1940s.
Okay.
What we do know is that she really got into psychic healings. So I kind of want to give us a flashback to Victoria Woodhull whenever we did that episode.
You know what? I was already thinking that there were bylines with Victoria Woodhull because like abusive father that put her to work really young, married some rando just to get out of the house. And then thinks she's psychic.
Also it's this time period as well as that people were really into spiritualism. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that in the Victoria Woodhull episode. We talked about how they would like conjure people and have not seances, but like they would conjure, old loved ones and things like that.
Well, Victoria Woodhull was right after the Civil War, and this was right after World War I. So it's really not surprising that people were looking for ways to contact their lost ones,
Exactly. So she would have studied the New Thought, which is like a new wave, like
spiritualism thing.
And that was under Ernest Holmes. And then that's when she really got into what I was talking about earlier, that channeling and that like past life regression. That is so Katie.
I know. Have you ever had your past lives regressed?
No, I have not.
I did it once. It was interesting. It's unlike whenever you get a psychic reading and they maybe like touch on something. There's no way for you to fact check.
Yeah, you're like, I'm pretty sure our girl, Ruth Norman, would be able to fact check all of this.
Well, the psychic told me that I was a woman in Ireland, and she's like, I can't really tell what time period it was, but there's petticoats involved. And she was like, and you were really into like, mysticism or whatever, and things that would have been considered like witchcraft-y, and your parents wanted to marry you
on brands.
Yeah. And then your parents wanted to marry...
You like to bring me to the witches market.
You love the witches market. Shut the
I
fuck
do.
up.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. No, but keep going.
And then her family was like, well, you got to marry this rich dude, and if you don't, we're going to tell everyone you're a witch. And then she married this rich dude and lived a miserable fucking life. And she was like,
I do not like this journey for you, Katie.
I don't like, I feel sorry for petticoat lady.
Petticoat me lady.
But maybe that, if true, maybe that's why in this life I'm like, I'm going to tell the stories of women who were silenced or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Now I love this journey for you.
I hated this journey for me back in like Ireland in the 1700s or something.
Petticoat me lady.
Petticoat me lady. I hate that journey for her. Anyway, we have past life regressed.
A couple of moments. So she had 2 other marriages. The second was to Benjamin Arnold, and that lasted all the way until his death. So she got divorced in the first one. Second marriage, it was a long one. He ended up dying. And then the third one was George Marion. So her marriage to George Marion was really like rocky because all of a sudden she's with, George Marion for a hot second, and then she meets this other guy named Ernest Norman. So if you haven't picked up, her last name is Ruth Norman because she got married. So spoiler alert.
Thank you for that, Nathan.
So Ernest Norman was also a spiritualist, but he was a wee bit out there. Like he was a little bit extra. According to the unarius.org website, he was an advanced clairvoyant, scientist, electronic engineer, and poet. And you know what I thought? I was like, electronic engineer. So he wasn't like a mechanical or electrical engineer. Yeah. Electronic engineer just sounds like he played a synthesizer. And if you look at their videos, he did. He totally did.
He did. I would imagine it also maybe has something to do with computers. Electronic.
Maybe.
Maybe. Synthesizer. I think he was a synthesizer doctor. Yes. On board.
So he was into this whole like nature of consciousness and physics and your energy, and I feel like he'd fit in okay nowadays. But back in the day, he would fit in
just fine in Austin. Keeping it weird.
So legit, one of the quotes was, he illustrated the principles of energy from a 4th dimensional level of understanding. What? Is he on LSD? Is there psilocybin involved? Mushrooms? Marijuana?
Probably.
What is he? What is he on?
Life, man.
4th dimensional level of energy. I don't get it.
I'm just like, I'm just high on life, man. But like the mushrooms also help.
Right. But the best part is that he claims that he can communicate with like aliens and historical figures.
Oh, okay. I wish that we could reach out to him now because I have several questions.
I know, right? I thought the same thing when I was like, historical figures? I love it.
Okay, now we're cooking with oil.
Right? So he meets Ruth in 1954, and literally like right when he meets her, he was like, so I'm seeing this for you, and I'm reading your energy right now. You were the daughter of the Pharaoh that Moses fought with, and you tried to convince the Pharaoh to let Moses and his people go.
Well, I mean,
Katie's like, well, I mean,
you gotta marry that
tell
guy.
Me that.
You gotta marry him. I mean, I don't know what
Katie.
Like,
I mean, I would marry him based on that too. I mean, let's be real. You were
also. I'm just imagining this woman whose picture I'm looking at, just being like, "Yes, I believe that." Like in all her business,
you can totally see it. Go on, please. Go on.
Like, wait, how did you already say? Did I miss? How did they meet?
So they met at like a convention. It was just a random spiritual convention.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It was just like a random psychic clairvoyant convention.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense than him just like coming up to her at the grocery store and being like, "You were the daughter of the Pharaoh."
What would it be called? Clairvoyant Con. Katie almost spit out her drink.
I did. There was water all over my laptop.
They don't already have this. I called it copywritten.
Oh, thank God I've got like a little protector.
They met at Ye Old Clairvoyant Con back in 1954.
Oh, man.
They legit claim that they got married that same day. Like, so.
But But she
Totally
was
Katie Hearn.
married to somebody. But no, she was married to somebody else, right?
No, she wasn't. Yeah, she was. So they claim that they were married that day and that the church approved, and the church's founding day, the date that they kind of cite is the date that they got married, which is just such a load of bullshit. It's
So
February
wait,
14th.
the church,
February 14th, 1954. Valentine's Day. Are you kidding me? You met each other on Valentine's Day and immediately married each other
on
That's
Valentine's Day. But
That's
also, I love the church approved, and it's like, okay, you are the you haven't started the church yet. So.
Well, later on, the church notates this as the date that
the church retroactively approves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And also, in most states, you can't, unless you're like in Nevada or something, you can't really go get married you got to go get a marriage license and wait like at least a few days.
Yeah, it's a lie. She was technically still married to George Marion.
Yes.
And George Marion was pissed.
That she married somebody else? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hello.
Go figure.
Just randomly.
Go figure.
Literally, that their divorce drags on for another 2 years. So technically, they were not divorced for another 2 years.
Right.
So they start to do some more research, quote unquote, and they start to establish their own beliefs. And, Ernest thinks that he can communicate with aliens. Bizarre. Maybe he should get that checked out. But he finds out that these aliens that he's communicating with are a secret intergalactical band of, spirits, and their name is the Space Brothers.
I couldn't come up with something better than the Space Brothers.
I know. What the fuck? I said it.
I'm just thinking of the Property Brothers.
I read that. I was like, really? Space Brothers? You couldn't. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard had Xenu and the secret. So, I mean, to be fair, there is a lot of overlap with Scientology, and that was a rabbit hole that I went down. So what we're going to find out here in the next few, you're going to be like, sounds a lot like this is a little Scientologist. But Ernest is channeling this secret messages from the Space Brothers, and Ruth would just type them down. But guess what? Ruth never had a formal education, guys. So she never learned how to type. She learned it in her sleep.
She learned
because of aliens.
Hold up just a second. She learned typing in her sleep because of aliens.
Yes.
She that is also how I learned to do all of the skills on my resume.
Aliens
in my sleep. Is that not how you learn? Is that not where you went to college? Aliens in your sleep?
You're one of those lizard people, right, Katie?
Yes. She learned to type
through aliens in her sleep, and they establish the entire religion that is still there today. It's called the Unarius Academy of Science.
Science in air quotes used very, very loosely.
Yeah. So if you, like I was saying, much like Scientology, if you were to attend it, they'd be like, yeah, it's kind of a religion, but it's more of a self-help thing. You know what I mean? That's what Scientologists kind of believe. It's a religion, yes, and we have these beliefs, but they're just to help you in your consciousness and your new life and what the fuck ever. So it's just past life therapy is basically what they're doing. Psychic healings, past life therapies, which is a lot of Scientology as well as past life therapies. Your leader occasionally just starts tripping out and has these visions. And it's oh, this is a sermon. Guess we're going down that. I mean, how do people not be this guy's nuts?
Yeah. Well, what? It's the 60s. I think it was just a time.
It's the 50s. Well, it's the late 50s. So, I mean, we're transitioning into the 60s. So you're right. There was that weird psychedelic kind of movement at that period. And it only gets worse from there. However, I will note that there's no evidence that anybody did psychedelics or LSD or anything in this cult. So just putting it out there, these people were just genuinely crazy.
There's no evidence, but reason would dictate that I don't think everyone was super sober all the time.
Yeah. Ernest claimed that he got scientific advancements from his planetary trips that he would have when he was doing his past life regressions. So,
I mean, none of that, that's all nonsense, Nathan. But okay.
I don't understand it either. So apparently he just goes back in his head and all the space brothers are telling him that his past life was like this and there was all this technology.
Okay.
Atlantis was involved. I don't understand. Like,
Atlantis
Morissette?
Atlantis.
Yes.
The city under the sea.
Well, Atlantis Morissette was probably involved too.
Probably.
I mean, she's involved in everything. Because I love her. Just FYI. That's not a read. Alanis Morissette, if you're listening, can I make out with you? I don't know.
Come on the show. Come on the show. You seem to really like women in history.
So both Ruth and Ernest claimed to have lived over about 50, give or take, plus or minus 5, past lives. And all of these plus or minus 50, whatever, past lives, they lasted over several million years.
Okay.
And
duh.
So they would tell you stories about all of these trips to planets and how this planet had all of these problems, but the scientific advancement of the brain and their psychic abilities were able to overcome the evil. That was literally their brand.
So were they going to planets like Jupiter, Mars, or were these like
planets that we never heard of? Like
other planets. Okay.
Yeah.
Other solar systems or what the fuck ever. Yeah.
Very Scientology here. Like we're intergalactical space cult warriors. Okay. I don't know.
Intergalactical space cult warriors.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yes.
So among some of the people that they claim to be, first off, I'm just going to get the worst one out of the way. Jesus and Mary of Bethany. Let's just don't claim to be Jesus.
He was Jesus and she was Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she got some other historical figures that she got to be. So guys, let's give a round of applause for some of her past lives. One of them was Socrates.
She was Socrates. Okay. Mm-hmm. Impressive.
Next up on the list, Queen Maria Teresa of Austria. No big deal.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Socrates and Maria of Austria. Yeah, okay.
She birthed Marie Antoinette. Come on.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have to give it up for Queen Elizabeth I.
She was also Queen Elizabeth I and Socrates.
Bold move.
You know what? Don't you think that sometimes in your past lives you're just going to be someone boring? Like we can't,
right? Like a farmer. No, not to say that farmers are boring, but like
but some not what I mean. Socrates, not Elizabeth I.
I'm not writing books.
Why did she get to hit the jackpot, the famous person past life jackpot so many times? Like somebody had to be the farmers, you know?
Yeah, somebody had to be like the normal, everyday, blue collar person.
Yeah,
just doesn't make sense. But
not her.
Sadly, her psychic space brother, conjuring space traveling husband dies. The Unarius described his death as his transition to higher planes of the light worlds.
The light worlds.
Yeah.
Rest in light?
That's cool. I mean, I'd be fine with that. Rest in rainbow prisms, Nathan. Rest in rainbow prisms.
Love it. Well, bon voyage. Is he one of the Space Brothers now?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't go down that much of a rabbit hole.
Okay.
But I think he is part of he's now one of the happy people. But he's dead in real life. He's real dead.
Yeah. He's hanging out in Atlantis.
So it's 1971 at this time. This is, again, guys, the height of kind of the LSD, spiritualism, all of that shit movement.
It was a very prime time for cults. the
Yes.
70s. Yes.
And Ruth is like looking around and like, okay, so my husband's dead, but I was the one that was typing everything out. So maybe it was actually me that was the conjurer. Oh, maybe that's what it was. And so she's like, oh my God, I'm getting messages from the Space Brothers.
And they're telling me it's me.
That her new name, she's going to rule the whole religion, and her new name is Uriel from the fourth dimension. I mean,
it's very
everything fourth
Space
dimensional.
Princess. Yeah. Love it. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the picture of her like that we have in the show notes, she's again got the rainbow cape on, dripping in like satin embroidered.
Yeah.
Hideous, but she looks fabulous and I love her.
This would be an amazing Halloween costume that no one would get. I think everyone would just think that I was Rainbow Bright.
Oh, that would be such a good one. Yeah, no one would get that reference at all.
No one would get it. And they'd be like, Rainbow Bright? And I'd be like, Uriel of the fourth dimension. Duh.
So now Ruth is Uriel living her fourth dimensional fantasies in 1971. And she takes charge. Yeah, she takes charge of that Unarius. So she's channeling her own interstellar vibes right now, feeling her fantasy. She needs someone to like type this shit out now because now she's the one channeling. Someone else needs to come in and like help out and, you know, be her right-hand man. And this guy's name is Charles Spiegel. Now, we don't really know if anything ever happened between her and Charles Spiegel.
Do we know the age documentation difference? Is he like a little bit younger?
I think he's a little bit younger. So they're about the same age. So it's not like I can't think of
cougar
a reference
situation.
for a cougar. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not a cougar situation at all. So it's not 100%, like, it's not clear that he's just trying to be the second-hand man. I don't think that he was ever trying to be strategic. He actually tried to learn the religion and genuinely believes in it. So that's
sweet baby.
The other thing. It's sweet baby Charles.
Sweet baby Charles.
So now they're starting to channel people again. And they start channeling some historical figures. And one of those just, you know, apparently reaches out from his dwelling in outer space, quote unquote, Nikola Tesla.
Oh!
If anybody had a dwelling in outer space, it would be him.
It'd be Tesla. Definitely. Definitely. What did he want from Muriel? What's her name now?
Oh, he's
Uriel?
Uriel. No, he's telling her about energy and healing and power and, you know, that whole thing. So she also onboarded Albert Einstein.
Okay. So she's got Tesla and Einstein talking to her from the fourth dimension.
So again, energy. She's all about physics and past lives and how this can all be interconnected. So her and her new buddy, Charles Spiegel, they are pumping out, this is what kind of makes them a cult, propaganda. You know, they're pumping out how great Uriel is. You know, she's this magnificent, beautiful, amazing person. She's godlike. And they even say that, can't say this with a straight face, that she spiritually married an archangel at a gorgeously decorated venue on another planet. Obviously,
why would you? Why she's
Earth
from the fourth
shithole.
dimension? She's not gonna get married at this dump.
Yeah, right. And at the end of the ceremony, there's this, you know, archangel, Lord Protector of whatever. He names her the crowned queen of the archangels.
Queen of the angels!
Oh my god.
Uriel, fourth dimension, queen of the angels. This Halloween costume just got so much cooler.
See, I'm laughing at it. Katie is genuinely into this shit.
Okay, asterisk. Not really.
I know, but you love it. You love it.
I love it.
Let's not lie about this.
I'm actually going to leave this call and tell my husband that I am now soul married to an archangel, and I'm about to go hang out with Tesla on the moon or something at Atlantis.
Oh my God.
Me and Tesla are going to go scuba diving on Atlantis.
Oh my God. So her students ended up coming up and saying, like, they were so into this propaganda. They literally took her name and they were like, she chose Uriel for a reason. It's an acronym. And the acronym is Universal, Radiant, Infinite, Eternal Light.
Okay, I'm in love.
Yeah, Katie's like, this is much it.
Okay. No, but like I have like a new career path. I think after retirement, this is what I'm going for. This whole planetary aesthetic right here.
Planetary, aesthetically cultish queenie.
Queen of the angels. Yes.
Universal, radiant, infinite, eternal light.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and make the business cards. I'm manifesting this shit starting immediately.
And guys, for real, like this is, so she starts to make videos about some of this shit. They still have a YouTube channel. So if you do get the opportunity, it's like a high school AV club version of religion.
All this.
Oh my God. It's so
I wish
beautiful.
y'all could see the face like that Nathan is making, just like rubbing his temples as if to try to like scrub the image of this YouTube channel out of his brain.
That is exactly what was happening. But I will say that everybody, and I did watch some videos from there, that everybody would say that whenever she talked to you, she had that charisma.
Yeah.
That is a cult thing. Like whoever is the leader of the cult just has this certain charisma that everybody's just like,
just makes every single person feel special.
Yeah. So they said that the air vibrated with positivity when she walked in the room, and I was like, that sounds like LSD.
Yeah.
That sounds
air
like,
doesn't vibrate, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what hallucinogens are you on? That's cool. But she also at this time talked to Plato. She also talked to JFK, which, I mean, who doesn't?
Okay.
Why would you? I mean, Plato, Socrates, Queen Elizabeth, JFK. I mean, JFK was great, but really?
I know. I feel like I'd have more questions for like, I don't know, Abe Lincoln or something. But whatever. JFK was topical at the time. He had just died. You know.
So, Katie, with every alien cult that has ever existed, there's always one thing that they try to do to say, oh, you know, aliens, yeah. And that's a spaceship landing. Every good alien cult is like, the aliens are going to land in the year 1988 and they're going to sweep us all off our feet and we're just going to go to heaven and it's going to be great. Have you ever heard of Heaven's Gate?
Oh, you want to talk about websites that are bad? The Heaven. Yeah, that's it. But that's an episode for a different time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that same concept of like there is the potential for something terrible to happen when you predict
right
that aliens are going to land. Like, newsflash: if you're ever going to be a cult leader, don't put an expiration date on your cult.
No,
not a good idea.
That's a very good point.
So Norma predicts that the Space Brothers.
Actually, can I interrupt you real quick? Because one day I would like to put out a book of Nathan advice. And I feel like don't put an expiration date on your cult is going to be a piece of advice in there.
Yeah, because you're going to go back at year 80 years old and be like, oh yeah, I was supposed to create an intergalactic space cult. What did Nathan say?
Don't put an expiration date on it.
So our expiration date is set, Space Brothers edition.
Space Brothers.
December 1974. So her date isn't all that specific. You know, it's just not
December.
Like, it's just sometime
in this
December.
Year. Okay. Or in this month. Okay,
so
okay.
Her her followers end up purchasing, this huge landing site in Jamul, California on November 1974. And Norma's like, oh, just got a message. Those Space Brothers, oh man, they're saying it's taken a little while. Oh,
there's traffic up in the third dimension.
No, the reason that it was taking a while is because they were trying to restore the old teachings of Atlantis. Yeah, I told you it would come back around, and they were trying to because in Atlantis, apparently there was no crime, there was no anything, because they had like this law that was written down that everybody just abided by, and it was just the perfect society. So that's what she was kind of going for.
But I have logistical questions that I don't think you're going to have the answer to. Like, okay, we're trying to restore the laws of Atlantis. Where?
The Space Brothers. The Space Brothers in space.
That's yes, but like, where are they taking these laws of Atlantis to restore them to? Because it sounds like they're
to Earth.
Why would that hold them up getting to Earth?
Well, they have to restore the old teachings to bring to Earth in order for Earth to adopt the teachings of Atlantis to become a better Earth.
If you say so, Nathan. All right.
So, yeah, that's the whole thing about this religion is like, once you go down the rabbit hole, and I think
it's like once you ask a question, it's like, don't ask a question.
No, but that's the thing is like the followers have answers. Like they're always like, and they have the answers, and you're like, but this is a bunch of nonsense. And they're like, no, it's real. And you're like, okay.
Atlantis, duh.
Yeah. Okay. So not only were they supposed to restore the old teachings of Atlantis and bring them to Earth, the Space Brothers got hung up because they needed crystal computers, because crystal computers were obviously a thing.
I mean, if you don't have a crystal computer, what the fuck are you doing?
I know. That's why my connection always fucking sucks. That's why my Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Because I don't have a crystal computer. My computer's just made of fucking metal and wires or what the fuck ever.
So the date of the new landing was revised for about a year later, September of 1975. So September of 1975 rolls around, and our girl did not let this show go down. She was not like, I'm going to doubt anything. No. This is when she started dressing up in full garb, even included like a full welcoming crew with like school buses with like, welcome Space Brothers, like full on like party in the California desert. Katie, you love her, right?
I really wish I could have attended this party. That sounds awesome.
Because she's like Miss Uriel, Queen of the Fourth Dimensional Archangels, and she's like dripping in Jules Ella Guanza. And then the rest of September rolls around. And she's like, fuck. The aliens still aren't here. So her
mumble something about Atlantis.
Atlantis. Her story changes again. She said now, it's just so wild that it's like, how does she get away with this? She says that her misprediction, like she mispredicted the landing of the space aliens because she had past trauma from one of her past lives in which she was the goddess Isis.
Several more follow-up questions. Wouldn't the whole point of being like a god or goddess is you don't die, so you wouldn't have a Okay.
So she was Isis.
Sure, girl.
So apparently, back then, the Space Brothers were supposed to land in Egypt to help out with Egyptian society. And before they landed, the goddess Isis was assassinated by everyone because she helped facilitate it, and somehow they were just mad about it and they assassinated her. And so that's the reason why the whole thing was mispredicted, is she was like, oh, they're supposed to land today. Oh, but then I was assassinated.
And that's the past trauma is making me mispredict this because stop asking me questions.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just like, I'm so glad though. Like, this is one of those where yes, it's a cult, and yes, it's like an alien cult, but at least it's not Heaven's Gates, where it's like, oh, this is the date that they're coming. This is the date we're going to kill ourselves. It's like, no,
we're just having a party.
That never happens.
We're just having a party, and like,
she
and it's
dresses
also
up really
unlike,
pretty.
yeah, and it seems unlike Scientology, which you've also compared it to a couple of times. There's like no child abuse. That unless something sad is about to happen.
No, there's no adult abuse either. Like there's no sort of like, I'm going to hold this lawsuit over your head or try to sue you if you try to do this to me.
Or people gone missing.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. Like it's very kind, gentle. So at this point, after she told them about the goddess Isis, yes, guys, I know it's a crazy story. And guess what? Lots of her followers thought it was a crazy story too. And they were like, okay, we're out. So, I mean, she had a lot.
That was fun. Have fun in the fourth dimension.
Had a lot of fun with your school buses. Welcome, Space Brothers.
Woo! But I've got a mortgage, actually. I got to get back to my job.
Right. And this kind of thing that was happening right now where people would just steadily kind of fall off, it was kind of normal for Uriel at this point. So that's why their website isn't really up to date anymore, because they don't have a lot of followers.
I still feel like there's got to be some kooky college design person that would take this on for fun. they need some more pizzazz. Now there will be. Now that Queen's Podcast is talking about him.
So now she's really into less of the psychic healings, more into like the past life recollection therapy sessions. And this is where you get a lot of the videos that she made, where if you see them, they are comedy gold. Like she's literally sitting in a chair with this big god awful dress on, and it's got laser Floyd lights, like an
SNL sketch.
Yes, it's just so bad. Like there's just psychedelic lights going, and she's just like sitting in this chair with her big crown on. And it's like, we're going on a journey. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so good. Love it. It was all DIY too. Like,
you don't say.
She didn't force. Well, this is another thing. She didn't like force people to come up with money to make this big, expensive production video. She was just like, yeah, bro, whatever.
It wasn't like you need to buy all this stuff to be in the cult, or anything like that. So it's kind of the most harmless cult ever.
Yeah, I mean, she does claim that there was like her followers were at, and I put that in air quotes because not sure that that's an accurate number, but she said that it toppled over 100,000 at this point when her videos started coming out. I think she's
that seems like an estimation. I stand by
estimation.
What I say.
So after she topples 100,000 followers, it's like she's Instagram verified. At this point, she is now the Lord of the Universe and Prince of the Realm. Which
she's non-binary,
gender fluid.
Gender is a construct. I love that.
I love this. Her right-hand man now, Charles Spiegel, he's now promoted to. His name was Antares. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but there's no one here to fact check me on this.
Yeah.
Because it's a weird cult. Charles Spiegel gets his new promotion. He's now Antares. Yes. And as Antares, he can now channel Space Bros. It's like,
dude, bro, space.
Dude, bro, space. Oh my God. I love that. Bruh.
Space.
So they began writing this new scripture that's all about your consciousness and how to master your consciousness and how to be able to, that whole consciousness over being, and how that can, your health,
mind over matter.
Yeah, your health can be determined by how your mindset is.
Okay.
So they also have all these other stories about like hopping planets and seeing past
quantum
lives
leaping
and
and stuff like that.
demons and shit. Like it's weird. Like we said, it's nonsense. It's all nonsense to people who are like, what the fuck is this? But whatever, the true believers are like, no, this is real. And you're like,
no, really?
Beg to differ.
I beg to differ.
So her followers still would say, like, she's one of those people. She walks in the room. You feel her positive vibes. People would faint just by her walking in the room. Like,
because they're just so convinced in their minds that she's something.
She's got this energy about her, and just her walking into the room cleanses you, and you're just like, oh, I'm done. Which is just what I do on a regular Saturday night after a long night of drinking.
Obviously, yes.
But they had portraits of her, and these portraits were said to have like healing powers and shit. So she would also visit her followers in her dreams and heal them somehow.
It's kind of like how the aliens taught her how to type in her dreams.
They taught her how to heal in her dreams.
She's just paying it forward, Nathan.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Yeah.
And then this is where it gets a little fucked up, is that there were some like people in her followers that had cancer, because cancer's just always going to be there.
It happens sometimes,
Yeah, and they would stop taking treatments because they believed that she was healing them in her sleep. But
okay, well that's not very groovy.
Yeah, that's where she goes into like, okay, this is a little bit culty. She doesn't really come out and be like, yeah, stop taking your cancer treatment, stop taking antibiotics, stop doing all. It's like, she doesn't come out and say that. So there's no, like, to me, sometimes those people, it's a very hairy situation.
It's like she never directly said, hey, don't take your cancer medicine, but also she implied that
she could
the aliens would heal them. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, and it's not that big bad cult leader that, you know, like we covered with Nexium, but it's not like that where they're like, if you don't do what I tell you to do, then we're going to destroy you. You're going to die. Everything bad's going to happen to you. It wasn't like that. So it's very different, but at the same time, kind of the same.
People made their own choices to not treat their cancer, but still, it's not good.
Yeah, no crazy rape and beating of children, just somebody not wanting to take their cancer treatment, which is still bad. So,
yeah,
not cool with that. But if there's one thing that I could change about Uriel, it's these goddamn predictions. Like, again,
did she keep on giving herself an expiration date and it kept not happening?
Yep. So she put another fucking expiration date and said, okay, so the aliens are going to land in 2001. Because most people thought back then it was going to be the year 2000. And she said, nope, 2001.
Shaking it up.
Because it's 1 year after the beginning of the new century. So it's the beginning of a new century. So everyone's like, oh my God, she's so right.
She's so right. She's got such a great track record with this so far.
And by the way, she said in this prediction that she was going to be around in 2001 to join the Space Brothers. And newsflash, she was born in 1900. So 2001.
So like, probability is not great.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction.
Time's not really on your side with that one, Uriel, Princess of Angels or whatever.
It's like 1988. So there's still a lot of time here. And at this point, Muriel breaks her hip. And that's just one of those things that happens, that when somebody breaks a hip or breaks something bad like that, their health starts to decline at an older age. And I mean, also bad karma. Like, don't say you're going to live past 100.
Yeah. And, it's like jinxing it. It's like getting your spouse's tattooed name on you. That's just tempting fate that they're going to cheat on you, you know?
Right? So at this point, her health's declining. All of her students come and gather around her, and they all start to do past life regression, which really just consists of them rehashing out the bad times they had with Uriel and her past with them. So it wasn't really past lives, it was their current lives. And they were just talking about how
it was in the past of their life. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, and they were just reliving what they did with Uriel, and it worked. Like, Uriel got better, and she ended up getting better for almost an entire year after that. But didn't last long because she's old.
Yeah.
So she still was leading services up until like February of 1989, which I couldn't find it, but February is when the church was founded. So I'm pretty sure she had a Valentine's Day presentation to celebrate her wedding to her husband. But this ended up not lasting too long. And in the summer of 1990, she did end up attending her last event. 1991, she got a message from the Space Brothers again.
Yes.
And this message said, okay, baby girl, you can die. It's okay. Like, so the Space Brothers apparently came to her and said, it's okay if you die, girl, which is her being like, I'm ready.
Yeah. I mean, she was 91, right?
Yeah, she was real old. And so they also like said that in her will that she stated that after her death, she would join the Space Brothers on their trip to Earth on 2001 and be reunited with all of her followers.
Aww.
Spoiler alert, didn't happen.
Damn it.
So it makes me, I still wonder, does she really
when she's going to come back?
Does she believe it?
Oh,
she
or
put
was
it in
a
her
power
will.
trip? Yeah.
She didn't have anybody, like, her followers at the time weren't that many, so it wasn't like she had this grand fortune that all of these other religions had. So there really wasn't that dynamic there. So, like, part of me is like, was she, like, mentally ill a little bit? Or is she actually the queen of the archangels? I don't know.
I feel like that's the most logical answer.
The queen
is
of the
that
archangels.
She is Socrates / princess of the fourth dimension / queen of the archangels.
Archangels, like geometry. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like that's the most logical answer, because why else would you put so much time and energy into all of this? That's just me. That's just.
So speaking of time and energy, her time and energy was spent. She ended up dying on July 12th of 1993. And this is really cool of her. She met with every single one of her followers after that and talked to them, like, before she died. Her right-hand man, Charles Spiegel, aka Entourage. I don't know. He took over Uranus, aka Unarius, for the next few years. He ended up dying about 10 years later, 1999. And so now at that point, that's when Unarius got their really bad IT guy and decided to make the website that they have now, because now they have a board of directors. And obviously these board of directors are not web designers.
Yeah, obviously. Wild. I'm going to join this cult and become their new leader, I think.
I think, honestly, you would probably be accepted as Uriel.
I really think that I could pull that off. None of the listeners to this Patreon, please don't let Unarius know that I have this new plot. I am going to recreate this rainbow cape little
I get to see you walking in
outfit we got going on.
And I
would just be like,
fog machine behind you, and you have like lighting coming in behind you, and you're like, it's me.
Yes. And it's really just me with a couple of laser pointers, because she was into DIY. And I'll just be like, I have been reincarnated. I am young again. And I'll be like, step one, we're hiring an intern to fix this website. Yes.
Step 2, run the cult. Step 3, don't have an expiration date.
Step 3, the Property Brothers of Space have let me know that they're not planning to make a visit, or if they do, it'll be invisible to everybody except for me. That's how she should have done it. I'm the only one that's going to be able to see the Property Space Brothers.
I knew whenever I read about this chick, I was like, if Katie were to start a cult, it would be about past lives, and she would dress really fabulously, and everybody would be like, only Katie knows the answers.
Only Katie knows the answers, and I'll be like, yes. And I'll be like, hey, guess what? I'm Anne Boleyn. Oh, and everyone's just like, you're Anne Boleyn? I'm like, yeah. And I'm also fucking
Cleopatra
and Mark Anthony. Like, don't ask. Like...
Oh my god, I love it, and that's why I chose this. So let's cheers to this badass
crazy bitch. I love it. You kooky, and we're here for it.
We could possibly drop this as like a surprise episode anytime, because she was technically the queen of the fourth dimension of Archangels.
She was the queen of the fourth dimension of Archangels.
She was the queen.
Angels. Why do I have to say
Archangels.
Archangels.
Oh my god. She did not like geometry in high school.
No.
It's her arcangle.
It's an arcangle. Nathan, this was a really fun story. I'm really happy that you went down this rabbit hole. That was so much fun.
I'm so glad for this journey for you.
I love this journey for both of us. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us.
And I love you for listening. Bye, bitches.
Cheers, bitches.